Hello everyone, hello YouTube, it's Cat's podcast and today we're gonna be discussing Blood Money update with the professional. So hi Patrick, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good too. So I call this podcast Double Rant because I saw your video about the update, your review. And we're gonna talk about this right now. But first of all, hello to anyone who joined, because I see a lot of viewers already there. And just as a reminder, it's a usual type of podcast. I'm mostly gonna be focusing on, talking with a guest. But obviously, I'm gonna keep an eye on chat. So just anyway, hello and welcome. So, I'm gonna go straight to the point, Patrick. Rate an update from 1 to 10.
I give it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, 4 out of 10. I gave it 5.
Yeah.
I gave it
And a lot of
5.
people, when I gave it a 4 out of 10, I had people messaging me too that I was being too nice to it when I gave it 4 out of 10 even. But, the final reason that I gave it 4 out of 10 was because there was still going to be some drip feed missions, and because Blue Water John, I thought that the guy who did the performance for him did a pretty good job. Even though it was limited, I did like that mission, and I liked the mission with the Night Folk. Even though it was just one mission, that's what really kept me from giving it 2 out of 10. Because if it wasn't for Blue Water John and the extra missions that were coming in, I probably would have given the DLC a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed Blue Water contract as well. I mean, unfortunately, this new one, the Dogs, is not on the same level as a Blue Water contract, but I mean, that's not a big deal. Hopefully, we're gonna get some more content, more. But I actually agree with your score, but I gave it 5 just because additionally I enjoyed DLSS finally being introduced to the game. I enjoyed some small changes, quality of life changes, like the fact that you now can buy all these pamphlets from previous Outlaw passes. And also, actually, I like Quick Draw Club. Like, what's your opinion on Quick Draw Club?
I mean, I don't really have much of a problem with Quick Draw Club, because one's supposed to come out every month, right? So I mean, there's gonna be something to do every month. It's pretty quick to complete it, and on top of that, the biggest plus for me is that you do get all of your gold back. So you actually get all of it back, unlike with the other Outlaw passes,
Yeah.
where you wouldn't get all of your gold back.
I mean, we used to have all the gold back, I believe, before the Naturalist update, before the third. In first two Outlaw passes, I'm pretty sure we received all the gold back. So they decided to come back to this system. And it's again, it's something pretty cool. But anyway, you gave reasons like why you think this update is. You gave pros for this update, but why your score is still so low? Why it's only 4 out of 10? Like, explain.
The update really offered nothing new. It was basically just the same old recycled bag missions. That's just what it was. I know there were some contracts that were a little bit different, but we didn't get new guns. We didn't get any. I don't think we got any new clothes in it. They just gave us Arthur's outfit, and they tried to charge a ridiculous price, like 52, 54 gold, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that we've been waiting 7 months for another update. 7 months, and this is what we get after 7 months, and there's like no communication from Rockstar, no word, nothing. And I remembered that when this update posted on the Newswire, like a lot of us thought that the way that Newswire was describing it, we thought it was going to be this big, massive update. Maybe not the size of Frontier's Pursuits, but a lot of us still thought it was going to be a big update, judging by how long that Newswire post was. And a lot of us thought that the Tuners DLC on GTA Online was going to be a small DLC with just maybe a few races, some new cars, but it was the opposite, where you had Blood Money was a really small, insignificant DLC, and then GTA Online had this massive, car update. I think it's 38 gigabytes for the GTA update or something like that.
I'm not quite sure about GTA because I haven't touched this yet. It's you know about this stuff.
Yeah, well, GTA. I played the GTA Tuners update a bunch already. I did 5 out of 6 contracts, and I'll say the contracts on the Tuners DLC, they're much better and much more detailed than the contracts in Red Dead Online. You know, they have much more of a story behind them. They're more the cutscenes. You know, they have good payouts, and the thing about them is it doesn't matter how long you take. If you complete these contracts pretty quickly in GTA Online, you still get a good payouts, like generally like 150 to 170,000 for the contracts on GTA Online. But in Red Dead Online, you know, you finish this stuff pretty quickly, you're not going to get that much money. It all depends on the time limit. Plus, you know, they added, you know, a new property where you could customize your car in. They added like a new side business where you could customize and deliver civilian vehicles. They added new characters to that. They added this whole car meet show. They added new race styles. So, you know, there's just so much content in that DLC. If you compare that to Red Dead Online, it makes Red Dead Online's DLC look so insignificant.
I mean, yeah, we don't have in Blood Money no new weapons, no new ability cards, no new horses, no new saddles, nothing like that, nothing like additional. I know that GTA Online received a lot of new cars, for example, and I know that, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I haven't played GTA Online, never, but I'm pretty sure that it's like with horses in Red Dead Online. The difference between cars shouldn't be that significant, so it's basically more or less all the same cars. But I mean, I wish we received at least like 5 new horses in this Blood Money update. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would change their opinion about Blood Money if there were at least like 5 new horses, at least something like this. So I'm pretty sure that would have been much better. But no, GTA receives a lot of new cars. And by the way, actually one car that GTA received today, like, almost made me to start playing this game, because it's as far as I can tell, it's Porsche 911, right? 911. Oops. Today they added some new car that looks like a Porsche to me.
Well, I'm personally not much of I'm not much of a car guy, but you know, the cars in GTA Online, I know they have, you know, massive amounts of customization, and you know, generally the special vehicles are very different from each other. A lot of the sports cars and the supercars, there are significant differences between them. You know, there isn't like a massive difference, but there are significant differences between a lot of the cars. But I noticed that there was like you know, one guy here who said in the comments that, you know, comparing to GTA is extremely flawed logic. I agree to an extent that when I compare Red Dead and GTA, I don't compare really, you know, I try not to compare the style of gameplay, because I understand they're two different games. You know, one's, you know, in the Wild West over 120 years ago, another one's, you know, modern times. But the reason that Red Dead players tend to compare GTA updates to Red Dead is because it's the same company that's making both games, and the games are unbalancedly supported, or unfairly supported, I should say. One game is, you know, this October it's going to be 8 years for GTA Online, and yet that game is getting updated much more frequently than Red Dead Online. And I know somebody could make the argument that's saying that, you know, GTA Online was out, you know, 5 years longer than Red Dead. I get that. However, though, if you look at the time that Red Dead came out, and from that point on, compare the updates from Red Dead Online's birth to like between that and GTA Online that same time, and you'll see that GTA Online, the updates that they get are just much more massive than Red Dead Online. I know in 2019 we had Frontiers Pursuits and Moonshiners, which were great updates, and that was kind of even to GTA Online. But then 2020 was an absolute disaster with the updates. You know, Naturalist, you had the Naturalist, the Bounty Hunter expansion, and in 2021 Outlaw Pass 5. You compare that to GTA Online, what did GTA Online get? GTA Online got Casino DLC, massive DLC. Casino Heist, December 2020, and then in December 2019, I'm sorry. And then they got that yacht update in July of 2020, which I understand that was kind of like small compared to Naturalist. That was like maybe the one time that Red Dead had a bigger update. But then December, you know, 2020, they had Cayo Perico, which was just a massive DLC. That was like, you know, I'd say like 20 times bigger than the Bounty Hunter expansion. That's not even an exaggeration. That update was so much larger. And then, you know what we got right now in the summertime, July 2021, you know, tuners, which tuners I'd say is like 3 or 4 times bigger than Blood Money. There's really no comparison to such a bigger update.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to compare GTA to Red Dead Online directly because they might have, different reasons to release different content. For example, time frame for release of the GTA, GTA 5 and GTA Online was different than for Red Dead Redemption 2. What I mean by that, it's maybe it's not yet a new generation of consoles is ready. Enough of these consoles sold for this game to develop and for Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Online and move to the next gen or something like this. Maybe some other, reasons they have. But I mean, yeah, when people say, I agree with you that when people say that like, well, it took a long for GTA Online to get to the point where they are now. I mean, I saw this comparison what GTA received in 2.5 years and what Red Dead Online received, and there is a huge difference. So, yeah.
I think that there's also a huge level of denial in the GTA community about like the type of content that the game had gotten, because I've talked to several players that hate on Red Dead Online, that are hardcore GTA players, and there's reasons to criticize Red Dead Online, but then I also I think that there's reasons that aren't very valid when it comes to criticism, and there's people that have like they pretend like right when Red Dead Online came out, I remember right when the game came out, there was people that were saying, oh, this game has no content, GTA Online has all this content, but what these people didn't understand is that GTA Online did not have all this content at day one. I remember the very first week that GTA Online came out. I played on the very first day. The very first week that GTA Online came out was a disaster. It was so buggy, glitchy, the game would crash like crazy, your characters would get deleted. It was just horrible, and it barely had any content. It was actually the same state as Red Dead Online. The only difference is you had cars, but it was basically the same state. It was just contact missions. That's what everybody was doing instead of just like stranger missions in Red Dead Online. There was nothing to do, just contact missions and races and death matches. There was nothing else that people were doing. So GTA Online did not become the game that it is today until I'd say like, right around, between the heist update and the and executives and other criminals, which that was like March 2015 to June 2016 is really when it started to grow. You had the first heist that came out and the first businesses. So it took some time for GTA Online to grow with these updates. But at the same time, as if you look at Red Dead Online in that same period, Red Dead Online's style of updates is just really lacking in comparison to GTA Online in that same time.
Especially last two, I have to point this, because Bounty Hunters was like not that big of an update, and like Blood Money is even smaller. And I know people are saying like, let's wait for the drip feed content, but I still hardly doubt that there will be that in Blood Money overall we receive at least amount of content that we received in Bounty Hunters update. So like 39 infamous bounty missions, which are basically these contracts, not even regular crimes, but contracts, because there are 3 parts in it, additional payout and some kind of a story. And we had 3 legendary bounties, which are obviously opportunities. I see no big difference between legendary bounty missions and opportunities. In fact, I enjoyed the last legendary bounty, Shepherd, like much more than I enjoy opportunities so far. I think it's a better mission from the gameplay perspective. By the way, what's your opinion on opportunities? Did you enjoy some?
The opportunity missions?
Yeah, we have 2 so far.
Wait, hello?
Yeah, opportunity missions where we have only 2 of them.
Oh, the opportunity missions. Well, when I first played the opportunity mission, I kind of had a bit of a narrow view on it. I was kind of wrong the first time that I played it because I thought that it was just like a boring mission where you just jump on the train and just like loot one chest. But then, when I started playing the mission a little bit more, I realized there's more things to do in the mission. Like there's the fireworks distraction, there's the you can go in the post office and like get a letter which shows you like chests that are available. You can actually hear about a checkpoint and then stop the train. There's prisoners you can release. So there is more stuff to do. I was initially wrong when I said that it was just a generic like train mission, but at the same time is even though there are like a few optional objectives that you got in that mission, it's really not that much to like bring the update back. It's not that impressive. Yes, sure, it's better than I'd say a stranger mission, but it's not something that's like really impressive. It's better than a stranger mission, but I wouldn't say it's something that's, absolutely amazing. I played the last mission just one time, the new one that just came out, and I wasn't that impressed by it. Just killed a bunch of people at Ansburg, and we did loot a chest. I know there might be a few more hidden things that I missed there. I know people said you can listen in on some conversation, so there is that. The missions are a little bit more detailed, but, this isn't really what players are asking for. Players did not ask for missions like this. We want to be able to rob banks in free mode. We want to be able to walk into a bank with our friends, hold them up, loot the safe, escape with it, maybe take it back to our camp or somewhere else, or maybe, even jump on a train and, like, kidnap the people on the train, kidnap rich people or stuff like that, some role playing. Maybe other people could play as, like, lawmen and try to stop us or something like that. That would be like I think that would be something that people would just like more. But this, what we have, this just doing the same mission over and over again, it's definitely not on, heist level in GTA. And, I think it's going to get boring really quickly.
And I mean, in GTA, as far as I know, payouts are paying, actually, payouts for heists, especially for the last one, are, like, impressive. And they are, like, the reason for people to play it over and over again. It's nothing similar with opportunity missions. There is no real reason to replace them, because, like, payout is pretty much legendary bounty mission payout. 5-star, obviously, and not everyone has, like, legendary bounty, not legendary, but bounty hunter role. But still, it's nothing that impressive. It's not the way to make a lot of money, so I see a problem here as well. And by the way, I kind of disagree about the, the complexity of the first mission, Emerald, because prisoners are kind of useless. They die almost immediately on Ruthless, and they break your stealth. Fireworks is like, I see no reason to use them at all, because you can get on the train and complete it in stealth without touching these fireworks. They're not, like, helping you too much. Oh, I forgot that I need to read this table. And yeah, I mean, looting chests is another money, but I mean, like, not that much of a significant difference. So I think it's they under-deliver with this mission. They could have done something much more interesting and better. And of course, the spawning policemen in the middle of nowhere. It's like cyberpunk level of game design. I wasn't, I was surprised to see this from Rockstar. Actually, it's such a weird decision, in my opinion. But I mean, it's not terrible. It's fine to complete it once or twice, but see no reason to grind it. That's what I'm trying to say. There is no gameplay is not good enough, and payout is like standard. So
no, I agree with you. I was just pointing out that there are, a few things that make this mission different than, like, a typical, like, stranger mission. But I get you. And the thing is, I think they should have just scrapped the whole opportunity missions anyways. Like, that should have been something that's in free mode. Like, maybe, somebody wrote in the chat, like, imagine, like, a train spawning, like, every in-game day or something like that in free mode. That would have been much better. Imagine if there was, like, a random train that would spawn in free mode, like, across the map, all the way from New Austin to an Oak Ridge, and then you would have, like, a random, like, bank that would be open, every in-game day, like a random carriage that's also driving around the map that has, like, valuables in it, and then players could, like, rush over and try to steal that and could, like, compete with each other, and then there could be, like, lawman players that could try to stop them. I think that would be, like, that would be a much more interesting and fun update than just, being forced into, like, a separate lobby, doing this mission, like, the same time over and over again.
But yeah, I mean, but it's possible that they cannot technically do this in a free roam, because, they added pretty much nothing in this Blood Money update, and yet the game is broken. Like, they still cannot fix it on PlayStation 5, as far as I know. But imagine if they've added something significant to a free roam, like the trains that you were talking about. I'm afraid that game will, like, break forever. Like, when they, I believe it was after Moonshiners update, when all the animals disappeared for half a year. So I'm afraid that's why they cannot do too much in a free roam, at least on current gen console. I'm not quite sure about this, but I think it's quite possible.
I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think that it's probably because of just bad optimization, and I think it's probably because they don't know what they were doing. When they made the update, they probably rushed it out, and that's it. I
Maybe.
think that I think that if you have like one train like all the way across the map, with a bunch of loot on it, I don't think that would necessarily break the game, or like having a carriage or bank open. I think that it would be fine. I don't think it would take that much up of it on the game.
Maybe. We cannot be sure about this because Rockstar is not sharing any sort of an information. By the way, small pause. I have to say that we have already 650 viewers. So hello to everyone, and remember, no likes, no Tahiti. No likes, no mangas, and we already have 200 likes. So, hello to anyone, thanks for joining and keeping the conversation civil in the chat. Please make sure that the conversation is civil, and we are continuing to discuss the Blood Money update with Patrick, also known as TheProfessional. So, you said in your this big video, by the way, like 50 minutes, dude. it's too long. It's my personal
Well,
opinion. Yeah.
I actually didn't want it to be that long. I normally don't like making long videos. But the reason that it ended up being so long is because I really wanted to break this update down and every little thing I wanted to talk about in this update. Like I wanted to talk about each individual mission, and even I even tried to find some good things in the update. I know that was hard, but I tried to find some positive things to look at in the update. So I tried to keep that review balanced, even though I knew that it was going to be, even though I knew I was going to be negative most of the time, because face it, most people are negative in it.
Obviously, yeah.
I just wanted to break it down and talk about it. And people, they liked it. I don't think people expected my review to be 50 minutes long, but that's one reason that it took me so long to make. Another reason that it took me so long to make is that the stupid 50% glitch. It kept me from recording a lot of times. But I wanted to make that review to outline specifically. I read people's comments in the poll, and I wanted to talk about my poll because that update, I think that Blood Money has done the most amount of damage to Reddit Online than any other update. I think that update has really, really hurt the game, and permanently. I think that it has done irreversible damage to the game at this point.
I would actually, I would disagree with you here. I don't think it's the best, the worst update for Red Dead Online. And actually, that was something that I wanted to ask you, because you said it's like a make or break, and you think that it's a final break. Like this update is final break. Like it's not I'm quoting you, but you had this idea through your video. So why do you think it's done this insane amount of damage? Why?
About when you just said you don't think that this is the worst update, I agree with you. I don't think that Blood Money is the worst update. The worst update, I think, is Outlaw Pass 5, if you even count that as an update.
Nah,
I think
it's not update. Let's not count it.
That's just what I personally see. Outlaw Pass 5 is the worst thing that was released on the game.
But it wasn't an update. I mean, dude, it wasn't.
Yeah, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, obviously.
But so the point that I'm making about this update is the reason that I think this update has done permanent damage to Reddit Online is because if you think about it, when was the last time that we had an update that the community overwhelmingly liked? And the last time that I can think of that we had an update that the community overwhelmingly liked was Moonshiners. Moonshiners generally,
yeah.
I saw people liked Moonshiners generally. The thing, people did complain a lot about when Moonshiners came out, but what they were mainly complaining about wasn't even the DLC or the missions. They were complaining about the glitches because there was a constant black screen when you tried to sell your moonshine. That's what people were pissed off about, and it was understandable.
Animals disappeared after Moonshine.
Yeah, animals disappearing.
Let's not forget.
But generally, when you ask people, though, did you like, the Moonshiners DLC overall? People say, yeah, it had a good story to it. It had an actual Moonshiner story. I liked the story, the cutscenes. I thought it was interesting story, interesting antagonist with the revenue men. New business, new property. The bootlegging missions. You had new cell missions. So I did like the Moonshiners DLC. And then, Naturalist came out. We started doing the whole clown thing right before Naturalist came out, and Naturalist, it was an update. It was, we did get another role, but I think that Naturalist, it's weird. I don't think that Naturalist was overall like a bad DLC, but I think it was a boring DLC, if that's the way that I'm framing it correctly. Because what Naturalist should have been, in my opinion, is it should have been like a role that should have been added into another DLC. Should have been like a DLC that has like maybe 1 or 2 roles. And like Naturalist could have been like 1 role added into that DLC. But having Naturalist just on its own I thought was just boring. And so even though it was a DLC, we did have some content in it. We did have legendary animals. You know, people weren't really that enthusiastic about it. You know, whenever I ask people, you know, how do you make your money in Red Dead Online? It's, you know, mostly collectibles or it's you know, trader. You know, I hear very little people that actually tell me, oh, I make most of my money from Naturalist. Like
I've never heard
this.
Like never ever heard this.
Never heard anyone say that they make the bulk of their money from Naturalist. Yeah. So that's right there. You can see that, and some of the legendary animals, you know, if you get the samples together, you can make some money from it. But it's the fact that people don't do it because it's just such a boring way to make money. So that was really, you know, the last time that we had an update. And between that, like, you know, Naturalist and like now, you know, what did we get? You know, Naturalist, which was, you know, a DLC but kind of boring. Bounty Hunter expansion in December of 2020 with, you know, what, 10 new ranks to the Bounty Hunter. You know, Outlaw Pass that wasn't going to give us all of our money back. They made us buy the same role again. And then March 2021, you had Outlaw Pass 5, which, you know, is the thin line between nothing and an actual DLC. You know, they just released an Outlaw Pass, expected people to buy it with no content on it. And so people were getting pissed off, you know, that the game was lacking in updates. And now what we get is this. And I made like that video, you remember, like, you know, a week, 2 weeks before the update came out. And I was saying that this is the most important update for Red Dead Online. And the reason I think it's the most important update is because people are getting pissed off with just 1 year of just boring and terrible content on Red Dead Online, barely any support. So people are getting pissed off on Red Dead Online. And if the next update doesn't deliver, if it's not something massive and something great, then you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna uninstall the game and just stop playing it. And I made my poll specifically, I directed it towards people, not people that stopped playing Red Dead Online already, but people that were still playing Red Dead Online before the update came out. I asked people, you know, if you still play the game, even before the update came out, and then the update came out, what was your thoughts on it? And overwhelmingly, at 53% of people said, I had hope, but I'm now done with it. Rockstar doesn't care. Out of 44,000 people, that is over 20,000 people that are basically saying right now they're not playing Red Dead Online anymore. They're done with the game. So I think that the game has done irreversible damage, where even if the game releases a good update at this point, you know, maybe in December it releases a big update, you will have some of those players that say that they're going to stop playing, come back. But I think there's a lot of players that are never going to come back to the game, no matter if the next update is a good one, because they're just sick of it. They're pissed off of what happened. Red Dead Online just gave up on it. They're uninstalling it. And it's not dealing with it anymore.
I mean, just imagine the situation. For example, I'm not saying that it's possible or that it's gonna happen. Like, but for example, it's gonna be a surprise update in December. They will release Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, and at the same time they will open Mexico in Red Dead Online. Do you think that really all these players will not come back to the game? I think they will come back to the game. I think it doesn't really means that they are saying now that they are sick and live in the game. It doesn't really mean that if something good will happen, they will not come back. You see what my theory is?
Well, that's if that theory is correct, that we get like a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake and like a Mexico DLC.
No, something big, something big in general, something significant.
If a Red Dead, but wait, here's the thing. The people that generally say, like, I had hope, but I'm done with it now, generally these people have a very positive view of single player. So it's not like they're getting rid of the game. Exactly. They're still playing single player. They consider single player a masterpiece, which it is. If Rockstar released a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, it would sell really well. I guarantee you it. A lot of people would buy it. A lot of these same people that voted in the poll would buy it. But people would mainly buy it for the single player. They wouldn't be playing it for Red Dead Online. They would be playing it for the single player so they could revisit John Marston's story and, you know, in Red Dead Redemption 2's engine. If they made a Mexico DLC, then I'm in agreement with you that a lot of these players would come back. Even the players that don't play Red Dead Online at all, that think that the Red Dead Online is just garbage, those players will come back to the game if Rockstar releases something like a Mexico DLC. I could totally see that happening. But at the same time, a Mexico DLC would be even larger than Cayo Perico on GTA Online, and Cayo Perico is one of their biggest updates that they've ever released. I can't see Rockstar at this point releasing a Mexico DLC, especially how badly they've neglected the game, unless their reasoning is that they've neglected the previous updates just so they can focus on a Mexico DLC. But there's no indication whatsoever that they're going to make a Mexico DLC. So the way that Rockstar's been treating Red Dead Online, I can't possibly see them making a Mexico DLC for Red Dead Online. I would like it, but I can't see them devoting that time of it. So Mexico is like the only type of update that I could see bringing people back.
Okay,
at this point.
real heists, real copy of GTA heists, some complex missions with, you know, that some sort of a preparation for the mission and stuff like this, good payouts. You think it's not gonna change anything as well, if it's gonna happen?
But I think that if you made a good update, like something like heist level on GTA,
Yeah.
I think that it could. I think that it could bring a lot of those players back. And like I said in my review, like, you know, a lot of these players, you know, they say that they're gonna stop playing the game. They still could come back, but like, you know, that's over 20,000 people that voted that they're not gonna be playing the game anymore. But even if you take that number and you just take 50% of that 20,000 people, that's still 10,000 people that would not be coming back to the game and not playing anymore. So that is just really bad, that like this many people, like I've never seen something like this. I can't remember the last time I saw something like this where people just stop playing a game because they're just getting so pissed off with the developer. Like people that have been, so there have been games that have been disasters that, like, you know, people were excited for, like, you know, Fallout 76. People were excited for that when it was coming out, and then when it came out, it was a disaster, and people just stopped playing it. Or when, you know, people were excited for Cyberpunk when it came out, and then you had all the glitches, and people just stopped playing it for some time. But this is a game that people have been playing since day one. You know, they've had faith in Rockstar. They wanted a good update, and they're basically tired of just being treated like garbage. Like, Rockstar's not listening to them, Rockstar's not communicating to them, and then, you know, 7 months waiting, no communication, and this is what we basically get. We get, you know, recycle bag missions, and so people are pissed off, and, you know, this is the breaking point for people. You know, it's basically 1 year of just terrible content, and this is what people were hoping for. And now people know, you know, we're not going to get another update until at least 5 months from now, December. You know, that's when we're going to get the next update. There's no indication we're going to get anything earlier, so, you know, a lot of people are just done with it. They're just not going to play it, and I don't really blame them at that point. You know, I'm still going to play Red Dead Online. You know, I like the game, but I'm not going to really blame somebody that's going to uninstall the game at that point, because face it, Rockstar's treated the Red Dead community like garbage.
I see the situation a little bit differently. So my first point is, my first like prediction. I think that if at some point something significant will be added to the game, like properties heists or Mexico expansion, something like this, something that we've been asking for a long time. We actually been talking with you about this like on the last podcast during this year, yeah. But so if this will be added, like most of the players who reached at least level like 100 and then left the game, even during this update, doesn't matter at which point, most of such players will come back to the game and give it another try. Just because this game is, you know, a little bit addictive. And if player leveled, you know, can be considered a veteran player, leveled at least to level 100, I think he loves this game. And therefore they will give it another chance. And Rockstar knows it. And I think the biggest problem for Rockstar right now, it's not that, you know, they care about such players. They know that these players will be back as soon as there will be some content. They know about it. So who they care about is beginners, people who buy this game or try it because they have single player, and they leave the game before they even reached level 10 or 20. And I saw statistics once about achievements in this game, and it's like a massive amount of players is not even going through. They have enough content. I mean, if you are level 10, there is not lack of content for you in Red Dead Online. There is a lot of stuff to buy. There is a lot of stuff to grind for. There are a lot of different activities. But they still live this game. And last update is Blood Money. They trying to fix this particular situation. They want these players not to leave the game as soon as possible. That's why they saw what's the best we created in PvE, like for all the time. Unfortunately because I think they are capable of doing something better, but unfortunately the best they created, if we're talking about PvE, is Blood Bounty Hunters update, infamous bounties and legendary bounties, and boom, it's copy-paste. it's basically Blood Money, if you think about it. It's a copy-paste of Bounty Hunters update. It's just a free version. It's something that's available for beginners, for players who just started. They want to attract players. And I think that that's their plan. They don't really care about, you know, people who voted, you said 20,000 people. It's probably not a new players. I'm not quite sure, but I think that people who said like I'm done because this Blood Money was the last straw for me. People who say that, they are not beginners. And Rockstar knows that they will come back sometime. If Rockstar will want them to come back and will make an effort. But who they care about is beginners, because I'm pretty sure they have pretty big problem with like how many players are leaving this game before even suffering because there is not enough of the content. So that's how I see the situation, and from this point of view, the situation is not terrible for Red Dead Online. It's not terrible yet. So, what do you think about such theory and perspective?
Well, whenever I stream Red Dead Online, you know, I have a lot of new players that come to my stream and they specifically ask me like, "Oh, should I get Red Dead Online? Should I play it?" And like, I generally tell people that like, yeah, you should give it a try. I think you would enjoy it. But I tell people like, you know, don't buy Red Dead Online by itself. You know, buy the whole game just so you can experience story, which is a masterpiece. And then, you know, when you finish story and you do most of it there, then, you know, play Red Dead Online. And I tell people, you know, when you start Red Dead Online as a beginner, you know, there's plenty of stuff for you to do when you start Red Dead Online as a beginner. You know, you got the bounty hunter, you got the collector, you got naturalist, trader, you know, there's just, you know, you got the story missions, you got the moonshiner story, there's, you know, there is a lot of content for a new player to do, but I say that, you know, generally after like, you know, 2-3 months of playing, you're pretty much going to do everything possible in the game, and then it's basically just going to be repeating what you were doing previously, and you're just going to get really bored of it. I think that with, you know, these veteran players on Red Dead Online is that they're pissed off that they've dedicated like a lot of time to the game, they try to support the game, and, you know, these people have like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, some people have over $1 million on Red Dead Online. I play like, generally I play like, you know, 2-3 times a week, and I have like $170,000 around there, and I have almost 600 gold, and even me, like, so I'm you know, not even playing, you know, every day, and I have like this massive amount of money, and so people want something they'll spend their money on. They want to be able to do something, and they just feel like they're grinding the same missions endlessly just to buy clothes, and then, you know, we get this and this update of just recycled bag missions. So, you know, I think that there's a huge possibility that a lot of those players are just going to be done with it, and they're not going to play. I understand that there's like a new update that's like good. It's going to bring a lot of those players back, but like if the next update is something like, you know, Blood Money 2.0, if it's something else like Naturalist expansion, 10 new ranks or something like along those lines, I guarantee you the vast majority of those players aren't going to come back. They're just going to say, maybe they'll come back for just a few missions and then be like, oh, this is stupid, why did I come back? And they'll just uninstall the game again.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the case where next updates that Rockstar will, you know, at the moment when Rockstar will want all these players to come back, they might release something big. And from my theory, like all these players that you've been talking about who played for 3 months and been enjoying the game and left because there is it's all the same after level 100, it's all repetitive. Yeah, but all these players will come back if there will be, let's say, properties update, like some reason to play and grind. Like it's the easiest example, properties. So I don't think Rockstar even bothers about these players. You see, my point is, from Rockstar's perspective, this move to release Blood Money updates, it is focused, I mean, absolutely 100% focused on the new players. Makes sense. Because let's be honest, they don't care about players who are higher than level 100. They don't care about you, whether you will be playing or not. They don't care about me. There is no way they can get real life money from us in the current state of this game, with the current economics of this game. So why would they care if you play or not? Why would they care if, like, the persons that you described will live or not? They don't.
Well,
but they care about beginners. Beginners is where the money and it's where the potential is. Because
I think that well, I agree with you that, like, high ranked players, if they stop playing the game, they really wouldn't care that much because they're not making money from players like me and you, because we don't buy gold bars. But at the same time is like, imagine like I stop playing Red Dead Online. And like I make a video like talking about my reasons for stopping playing this game, and then you make like, or you just theoretically say you're gonna stop playing Red Dead Online, and you make like a video or something like that, and we have like a lot of fans on us, and like we made valid points in our videos, and our fans are gonna look at this and be like, you know what, these guys got a point, this game doesn't really have that much content, I might stop playing too. So like people like us, get the message out on like the problems with the game. That could also convince like a lot of people theoretically to stop playing the game and just uninstall it. So
only players who are in the same position as us, only players who are high level players, veteran players. I mean, if let's imagine you are new player, right? You are a beginner, level 25, and yeah, you are a big fan of this new player is a big fan of you, for example, and because he saw one of your, I don't know, educational videos about this game, guides. And even if you're gonna release a video like I'm done, it's because of this and that, this level 25 player will not stop playing because he has a lot of interesting thing yet in this game. He's not done with this game yet. He's interested. There is a lot of new stuff for him, a lot of stuff to buy for. So even if you're gonna make a video like I'm leaving, people who are high level players will live with you and just come back to my original point. Like Rockstar don't really care about these players because first of all, they cannot get any money from them, like no money. They are not customers for Rockstar technically. And second, they know that at any moment, any point in the future, if they will want to and if they will spend enough resources, they might get all these players back. Like it doesn't matter how like we are offended by Rockstar's inability to communicate. If there will be big update, like something significant, something game changing, we will come back.
I think that Rockstar does the how would I say, they get a lot of new players from content creators because a lot of content creators, they, if you think about it, they kind of advertise the game, when they play the game, they talk about how much they like the game and do streams on it. And so people come across these channels and they say, oh, wow, this is a cool game this guy's playing. I'm going to give this game a try. And, Rockstar, I remember like every, generally every update, Rockstar like releases like that post in the newswire about GTA Online, and they'll say like, oh, thank you to the YouTubers and like over it, and they'll give like a list of like the GTA YouTubers and stuff like that. But they never do that for Red Dead Online. And like, so like, there have been people that have like supported the game since day one, like, people that really like the game and try to like, promote the game and, try to have hope for the game and be, as optimistic as possible. And Rockstar doesn't acknowledge them. They don't even acknowledge their community. They don't talk to their community. There's like no support. There's the lack of communication. It's just so bad. They basically treat Red Dead Online like a forgotten child in a way, if you think about it, like barely giving it enough. And so I think that's, I think that's like a lot of players that are pissed, and I just looked at Rockstar's main page, and I see that the Blood Money trailer, even the Blood Money trailer was 3 weeks ago, and the Los Santos Tuners was 2 weeks ago. So Los Santos, the Red Dead trailer is like a week older, but still, Red Dead Online Blood Money trailer has 3.5 million views. And the Los Santos Tuners update has 1.9 million views. So it shows that there's an interest in Red Dead Online. There's an interest in people like wanting to wanting there to be a good update, but at the same time as those 3.5 million views, the overwhelmingly it's likes versus dislikes, and it's because people thought that it was going to be a good update from those trailers and the newswire posts. People thought we were actually going to have these big robberies, but as we both know, that wasn't the case.
I'm not quite sure whether the amount of views actually indicates what you just said, because it's possible that they've spent some money on advertising this update. I'm talking about Blood Money, because they definitely did it with a Naturalist update. I'm 100% sure that they've spent a lot of money on like advertising this trailer. That's why it had like 11 million views or more. I don't remember, like insane amount of views actually.
But they, I don't want to cut you off, but they would do the same thing for GTA Online.
Not necessary. Also. Not necessary. If they know that there is no reason to go too hard on advertising this update.
I've seen the commercials for or the ads for the Tuners DLC on YouTube. So I've seen that they have been advertising it as well, and
Yes,
you
I've
know,
been.
people in the comments. The ironic thing is, I don't know if this is true or not, but some of the people in my comments on my review, my Red Dead Online rant, they actually said that when I clicked on this video, there was actually an ad for the Los Santos Tuners DLC. And so that was so they've been advertising both updates. But the point that I was making is that even though they're both advertising both updates, the Red Dead Online trailer has more views, which shows that there's, you know, people that are interested in the future of the game, people that want there to be a good update. GTA Online, you know, it's that game that, you know, people will come to it and, you know, play it, but GTA Online generally doesn't attract many new players now these
Yeah.
days. It's mainly like, you know, people that have been playing the game for some time, you know, even people that might take a break for a few years, but generally, like, I almost never hear any new players in GTA Online today. Like, maybe at most I'll hear about somebody that's like, oh, I haven't played GTA Online in like 3-4 years. I'll hear somebody like that. Okay, maybe that's a new player. But like, I never hear about anybody that's like, okay, I just bought GTA Online, I'm just installing it, I'm a rank 1, let me give this game a try. I almost never hear that. It's almost always somebody that's been playing the game for some time. But like Reddit Online, I hear like plenty of new players, people that are just rank 1 and just starting out, and I get messages from people and like comments on my Red Dead videos asking me like, oh, I just got Red Dead Online, what's the first thing that I should buy for Professional? Like, I just see comments like that, but I don't really see comments like that in regards to GTA Online, at least not anymore. Years ago I did for GTA Online, but not really anymore. So the point that I'm making is that plenty of new people are being attracted to Red Dead Online versus GTA Online, where it's just mostly like, you know, veteran players that have been playing the game for some time.
I mean, yeah, I get your point, but I don't think it's a clear indications. You know, your personal experience and like what ads have you seen and stuff like this. It's, you know, it's just a point of view for one person. It doesn't mean that they, let's say, not advertising Red Dead Online super hard, because I saw a lot of ads for Red Dead Online Blood Money before the Blood Money was released, and obviously a lot of ads for GTA Online update when it was released. So there is a different time, and we cannot tell how much money they've spent on this and that advertising campaigns. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't have this data. I just think that if what you're trying to say is that there are more people are interested in Red Dead Online updates than in GTA Online. I think this situation is impossible, just considering the amount of players who are playing GTA and who are playing Red Dead Redemption. It's never possible that without advertising, Red Dead Online trailer will get more views than GTA Online update trailer, just because this game is like 5 times bigger if we're talking about player base. GTA Online, so it's I hardly can see that Red Dead Online trailer just by its own gets more views. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that I think more of I should frame it as that people are a lot of people are more enthusiastic about a Red Dead update because, you know, GTA Online, there's really only so much that you can do at this point. So I don't think people are expecting anything like, you know, crazy big. And, you know, and when Los Santos Tuners was, you know, announced, like, people thought that it was just going to be a small DLC. People generally thought, oh, you know, it's going to be a DLC where you can just meet up with your friends and just do a few new races and a few new cars. That's it. People weren't expecting, you know, this these contracts that were coming out. They certainly weren't expecting like a new property and all this other stuff. And you know, people for Red Dead Online, there's just so many possibilities, so many things that they could do with that game. With GTA Online, they've added so many properties in GTA Online, and they've added so many missions to that game. There's very few parts of the map they haven't covered yet. Like there's like there's missions that are starting to interfere with each other that are like right next to each other. So like, you know, that's like in the same alleyway, like for instance, or in the same block, because they've covered so many different places in missions, and it's getting to the point where you're running out of place to buy properties because there's just been so many properties around, and even though there is so many other buildings that could technically be properties, a lot of missions take place near those buildings where we're just shooting up those buildings and stuff like that. And so now you think about it, like, you know, how are more new properties going to work? Where are they going to have to add new buildings and stuff? So they're running out of places that they could build stuff in GTA Online. Where Red Dead Online, there's like an endless possibility for content that they can make. It's the problem is that they don't put their heart into it.
Yeah, that's true. They have a lot of things to do, a lot of possibilities, but I mean, they might decide to, you know, to realize all this potential at any moment. That's what I'm trying to say. That I just disagree with you on the point that this game is dead after this update. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's still chances.
I'm not saying that it's dead. That's not really what I'm getting at. But I'm saying that this update has done permanent damage to the game. I'm not saying that it's dead, but I'm saying that it's done a lot of damage to the game, where a lot of people are now going to stop playing the game. And there's very few things that you can do to bring those people back. I agree with you that if there's like some massive, great, big update that could, you know, bring a lot of those players back to say that they're done, that I agree with 100%. But like, with what we've had in the last year in terms of updates on Red Dead Online, you can't really blame me for basically thinking the next DLC is going to be, you know, barely anything again. Like,
unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately,
many hopes.
Yeah,
I don't have hope for the December DLC. Like, you know, like I don't have hope that it's gonna be something big. Even with GTA Online, like, you know, when the GTA Online's smallest update that I can think of in recent times was in July of 2020, where they had the summer special update, and that basically was kind of similar to Blood Money in a way, where all the update basically was just some yacht missions. So you would just start up missions on your yacht, and they had a little bit of a story to them, but it was very small. But the thing is, though, even though we had that update, you know, people were kind of disappointed with the summer special update, but they weren't really that pissed off or angry on GTA Online. And the reason for it was because they knew that there was going to be a massive update coming out. Rockstar made a post on the newswire and said that we're releasing our largest update ever. Now, whether Cayo Perico was the largest update, that's debatable, but it is one of the biggest updates ever. And they said, you know, we're releasing our largest update ever this year. And what happens is when we have the July update and you have those few yacht missions, you know, people are pissed off, but at the same time they understand that there's going to be this big update coming out later in the year. So they're for the most part, they're patient. Okay, you know, we'll wait a few months, December, you know, Cayo Perico will come out and we'll play that and we'll have a lot of fun with that. But for Red Dead Online, you don't have the level of enthusiasm because there's no word on what the next update possibly could be. If Rockstar had said, you know, we're releasing our largest update this holiday season, you know, this update is going to have like properties, it's going to be able to rob banks, it's going to have like new roles, you know, you think of, you know, the best possible Red Dead update that they could make, you know, maybe a map expansion even too. If they said something like that, we're releasing something like that in December, I guarantee you that the majority of the community would not be this angry. But the fact that they released this update after 7 months, barely any communication, just recycled bag missions, and then, you know, we have no idea what the next update could possibly be. You know, people are pissed off. People really have no hope for the future of Red Dead Online. I ask people, are you hopeful for the future of Red Dead Online? I barely get anyone that's, you know, hopeful at this point. And I'm trying to be hopeful myself. I'm trying to be optimistic, but, you know, I'm starting to lose hope at this point.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that, because if we talk about if we take into consideration our expectations from the future based on this experience, yeah, it doesn't look promising. Especially if we, you know, take a look at the updates that GTA Online received this summer, and I remind you that usually summer is the time for big Red Dead Online update, and December is the time for big GTA Online update, but this time Red Dead Online received nothing. And if we consider the fact that, you know, later this year GTA will receive Enhanced Edition, and a lot of focus for Rockstar will be on this. So I really also not, I don't know, it's hard to expect something significant to happen in Red Dead Online, at least during this year. So yeah, if from this point of view, I might agree with you that it doesn't look promising, but I mean, I still disagree about the permanent damage, or the biggest damage that like all the updates made to this game. I mean, remember how animals disappeared on the consoles, or how let's say Bounty Hunters update, it was received so badly because of the daily challenge system nerf. Just remember, it pissed off like a lot of players. I remember this, and like I'm pretty sure that if you have done the same voting, like are you done with Red Dead Online after Bounty Hunters update, you would receive even bigger results, even more players would say that, like, I'm done with the game forever. I mean, this daily challenge nerf and combined with the mediocre update is like too much for me to handle. So what I'm trying to say is that we've been in such situation already, unfortunately, with Red Dead Online. It's nothing new, and it haven't killed the game, like, if you think about it, especially from the, you know, mathematical point of view, from the amount of players who's playing, from the amount of attention to this game, stuff like that. So, and it's still like, it's still in the same condition. It's not growing, no, but it's not.
I like to.
Yeah.
I like to think of like I like to think of maybe it's a stupid comparison to make, but I like to think of Red Dead Online as like an old car that's starting to break down, and basically each terrible update is maybe like another bump in the road that causes the car's tires to get more damaged, the engine starting to die over time, and each update just adds more and more damage to the game. Instead of, you know, helping the game, each update is basically hurting the game even more at this point. And that update, like, I think that update has, my personal opinion, I think that Blood Money was the most important update, not in a good way, because I think that it was the breaking point for people, a lot of people at that point, because people were patiently waiting on the game for a year, hoping for something good. And this is what they basically get: just recycled stranger bag missions that are no different than than what we've had. You know, I remember when the game first came out, you would sometimes have like a stagecoach mission where you basically go to the stagecoach, you kill the guy, and you take a bag. You know, how is that any different than what we had gotten with these stagecoach stick-ups that they had?
Actually, it's the same. It's the same mission.
It's the same thing. So this is basically this is the breaking point that this has gotten. This is the point where the car either completely breaks down or the car is absolutely going to break down. And I can tell that there's just a lot less enthusiasm for Red Dead Online, because when a new update comes out, I'm not the type of guy that really goes crazy over views. I don't stress over views. But the point that I'm making here is that when the update come out, when Blood Money came out, I had gotten like over 1,000 viewers, you know, at peak on my live stream. And generally, you know, when I do Red Dead Online streams, generally like 1,000 viewers is like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. That is generally like the max, the most amount of people that I'll have watching a Red Dead Online stream. And then what happens is, after the update, it goes maybe to like 500, 600 like viewers at peak. And it's because people were initially excited for the update. They wanted to see what was new on the game. They wanted to see probably my opinion. They wanted to see me play the update. And then they see me playing the update and they're like, oh, this is boring. This sucks. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, pay attention to this game anymore. And the same thing happened with the most amount of views that I've had on my channel in terms of Red Dead Online was in late 2019. When Frontier's Pursuits came out, I had gotten massive amounts of views on my like Frontier's Pursuits video, on my collector's video, my bounty hunter, those are the most popular Red Dead videos on my channel, and I had gotten like, you know, I'd say at least 100,000 subscribers over time from like from Red Dead content. And then Moonshiners, I did really well for me too. Moonshiners, like I had a lot of new subscribers from that, a lot of views. And Naturalist, I had some good views from that too, but then it started dropping over time. And then I remember like, you know, Bounty Hunter expansion came out, and Bounty Hunter expansion, I'd gotten some views when the DLC came out. I did a stream, but it started dropping, and it was never the same amount of views that I had gotten from Frontier's Pursuit. So I knew those same people were subscribed to me. It's not like those people, a lot of those people unsubscribed. They still subscribe to me from Frontier's Pursuits videos, but they were just not interested in the Red Dead content anymore. They just weren't as passionate about it. And I saw that like this, it just dropped, like for what we had for Frontier's Pursuits to this. So I don't really blame those people at all. Like those people, like, you know, were initially excited for the game. We had good updates, and then we get treated like garbage, and we get this, and people just stop playing the game.
Yeah, I agree that a lot of people are stopping playing the game, but on the same time, a lot of players are starting to play the game. Like, it's been free on Xbox. It's now free, or maybe it's now free on Xbox Game Pass. It's free on PS. I forgot how it's called, PS Plus or something. PS Now, maybe. Anyway, they've attracted a lot of players. There was a big discount, and there is still, by the way, big 50% discount in Steam for Red Dead Online. So I think a lot of new players are joining. So it's kind of, you know, might compensate the amount of players that this game lost. And I'm pretty sure that situation is is not something that Rockstar was not aware of. I think it might sound kind of weird, but I think it's according to their plan. I don't think it's a big surprise for them that like players are leaving after some time, because they obviously know that after level 100 there is like only reasons to play is your own reasons that you imagine yourself. Like, I don't know, grind $100,000. It makes no sense, but for some people it's a goal. Or, I don't know, take part in PvP. Again, it's like a kind of weird idea because it's not competitive, but still it takes a lot of players for some time. So, what I'm trying to say is that for Rockstar it shouldn't be a surprise. So, situation
I see.
It's weird.
I see one guy in the comments section that says because PvP in Red Dead Online is awful. I don't know if that's a joke or something, but I'll tell you right now, from my experience as a GTA Online player, though the PvP in Red Dead Online isn't perfect, it has its flaws, but I'll tell you, the PvP is 10 times better in Red Dead Online than in GTA Online, and that is not an exaggeration on my part. Yes, it's my opinion, but
well,
PvP is 10 times better.
Technically, if it's 10
Online.
times better than GTA Online, it still might be terrible and awful, because it's just a matter of what we compare this PvP with. If you
have you ever seen the PvP in GTA Online?
No, but I'm just saying that there are some PvP games, maybe if you compare it to some PvP focused game, like, I don't know, Call of Duty, for example. Yeah, Red Dead Online's PvP is just a joke. But if you compare it to, like, I don't know, Animals Crossing, I'm not quite sure whether there is a PvP in Animals Crossing, but it's definitely not a PvP focused game, and, like, so then it's terrible. So I'm just trying to say that comparing to GTA Online might not be correct, because it might also have like pretty bad PvP.
Well, I sometimes bring it up because I hear like people like saying, people will say, oh, GTA is better than this game and stuff like that. I see stupid comments like that, even though you can't really, compare those games in that aspect. And, one thing that I throw back at these people is I tell them, like, you might hate Red Dead Online and all, but, the PvP in Red Dead Online is so much more balanced and better than GTA Online. GTA Online is that type of game where people will keep spawning the same overpowered vehicle over and over and over again, trying to constantly blow you up. And what they'll do is, every single time you're about to kill them, they'll blow themselves up just to avoid you killing them. And then when they get that one lucky kill on you, finally, they'll spam you with a bunch of messages telling you 1-0, and they'll tell you that you suck. And then sometimes they'll teleport right back to their facility. They'll use that stupid orbital cannon, or they'll just use Ghost Organization, which takes them off the map. Then they'll go into off the radar, which gives them an extra minute. And then they'll join their friend CEO, and they'll go into Ghost Organization. It's constantly back and forth. That is like some of the most garbage PvP that I've ever seen. It's the most unbalanced, terrible PvP that I've seen. I don't want to bring this up constantly on a Red Dead stream, but that was just what I was trying to get out, because I just saw that one guy's comment there, and I just wanted to point out that GTA Online has some of the most broken, unbalanced PvP that I've ever seen. And I don't mean to hate on GTA when I say that. I like the game and all, but the PvP is just awful. It's terrible comparison to Red Dead. There's no comparison on that.
There are big problems in Red Dead Online's PvP as well. I mean, it's probably because PvP is not the main reason for this game to exist, but it's just I just mentioned PvP just because I say that some people find reason to play this game after level 100 in PvP. They find this interesting, but the game was not actually designed this way to be, focused on PvP or focused on PvE and hardcore grinding. Again, there is no reason at all to grind money in this game after level 100. Like, there is nothing you can buy. There is nothing that you need and you don't have. Like, it's just pointless. So, people are finding their own fun. And Rockstar knew about it. And it seems like they fine about it. But it's kind of weird, and they're not trying to change it. That's what I found weird. They don't try to get any money from most hardcore fans of this game, like high levels, people who played like 1,000 hours for no reason at all. They don't want to get money from these players, and it's something that always surprised me. And by the way, it haven't changed in Blood Money, because I saw tons of comments like, I thought that this game will finally give me a reason to grind, to earn money, something to spend this money on, but you know, it hasn't been changed in the update, because Arthur Morgan outfit, yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, who would need that for 52 gold bars especially? It's not a reason to grind, and I mean, many players already have it from Outlaw Pass 2.
It's more expensive than the Black Arabian horse, which is like 40-something gold, and that's one of the best horses in the game. So it's I just think it's ridiculous that they're going to charge you 50-something gold just for a single outfit.
Yeah, it's like to buy. You can buy 3 main rolls for that amount of gold. You can buy.
And if you think about it, like,
yeah,
50 gold bars, like, or I should say 55 gold bars. That's roughly like $20 US. And how much is Reddit Online on the store? It's $20 US, I think, right?
now it's 10. Now it's 10 because there is a discount.
Okay, so literally you are buying the game 2 times over, basically, just to get one outfit. That is basically what it is. You could buy the game 2 times or get an outfit. That is just how ridiculously priced that is.
Yeah, this price is a little bit off in my opinion. And actually, you see, they kind of tried to fix it, because there is already a discount on this outfit. Now it costs 31 gold bar, which is a little bit too much again in my opinion, but I mean, it's cosmetics after all, so why not? Maybe someone wants it so hard that he will spend that money, I don't know. But I mean, it's not the biggest problem, this outfit. The biggest problem for many players is that we still have like no reason to grind money on a higher levels, and Rockstar decided not to change it for some reason. And these new missions, again, like, I know that a lot of players, I see a lot of players who's like, it looks like they're forcing themselves to find these new missions worthwhile or fun. I mean, I'm not a big guy. I mean, it's fine to complete them once. Yeah, something new. Try it, like, complete it. Maybe if you're interested in completing it itself, spend some time on it. I mean, I've spent like 3 hours trying to stop the train with a cow. There is totally no reason to do it, but I just wanted to. But overall, it's nothing special, this opportunity mission. It's definitely not something that we've been waiting for for a long time.
You know, what I wanted to say, though, is, in regards to this, is that I can't keep defending Reddit Online, because it's like, you know, it's kind of ironic because, like, you know, I'd say like maybe a year ago, there's people that kept constantly criticizing my channel, saying that, oh, you defend this game, you defend Rockstar and everything like that, and now there's people saying that, oh, you go too hard on Rockstar. So I don't know, you know, where, you know, these people are getting these ideas from, but anyways, I remember that when people would come to my channel and they would tell me, oh, Reddit Online sucks, it has no content. Like a year ago, you know, I'd tell people, I'd be like, you know, be patient with the game. You know, GT Online did not have all this content at launch as well. Be patient. Rockstar will release something good. I'm sure of that. But now, I can't take that position anymore. You know, I can't tell people, like, you know, be patient, Rockstar's going to release something good, because they've had so many chances to release something good, and it's gotten to the point where I even though I love the game and I like the game and I want to keep playing it, I can't keep defending it, because it's just what Rockstar has done to this game, just the terrible updates they've done, the stupid, like, nerfs, like the daily challenge nerf. I cannot keep defending stuff like this. It's just I don't know what more I can say on that. The game has disappointed me, and I've tried my best to try to encourage people to play the game. I've tried to, you know, get people to give the game a chance, but, you know, I can't do that at this point with just the way that Rockstar supports this game, just the way that Rockstar treats this game. It's like a forgotten child in a way.
Yeah, that's true, unfortunately. And yeah, you said it previously in a stream that if Rockstar at least told us that, like, here you go, blood money, but in the future you will receive something good. At least told us something. This update might have been received a little bit better, just because people would still have hope. And now what you're describing is just a case of losing a hope in not even in Red Dead Online, in a Rockstar with Red Dead Online. So you're losing the hopes that Rockstar will ever do anything worthwhile to this game, and it's kind of understood, because like what should tell us that are there any indications of the fact that Rockstar will change their attitude and like give this game more love? I don't see this for last year or even more. Unfortunately, I don't see any indications. Actually, no, I'm not correct. I see some, because for example, they've been, trying to fix the game. I'm talking about the technical stuff. They tried to make this peer-to-peer connection, which is obviously terrible, but they tried to make it a little better. And they actually done some good job about mod menu users on a PC, about Red Dead Online specifically. So there are some good stuff as well, but it's still not enough to have faith in this game. And another thing that disappoints me a little bit is that once they introduce robberies, and this update is about robberies and Outlaw life, they kinda could have done it much better. So to add things that people really want, not just another missions that we already have in the game and call them, crimes. It's something that I was a little bit disappointed. Anyway, we have 900 viewers already, so hello to anyone, hello and thanks to join, and thanks to anyone who placed a like and who's communicating in the chat. I see a lot of familiar nicknames like До свидания, Timat TV, Austin BMX, McDiesel Gaming, and others. Pico Dog, I mean a lot of, I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned you. So anyway, hello and welcome, and we're continuing to discuss this update with a professional. So another question that I've asked a lot, like how can you rate this update already? Maybe we will be surprised with the drip feed. Maybe there are some hidden surprises. What do you think about this?
I doubt it. I think the drip feed will add maybe some new stuff to do, but I don't expect much from the drip feed, because do you really think that something in the drip feed can turn this update around at this point? If this is the bulk of the update that we had gotten,
no,
I doubt
I
that something in the drip feed could turn this update around. I think this update is going to go down, I think, as one of the worst updates that the game has ever had. And the problem with this is that this is actually an update people got excited for. When Naturalist was being announced, there was some excitement, but there really wasn't that much. People were like, oh, this is weird, mostly. But like for this update, people were generally excited for this update.
Yeah.
People thought this was going to be a great update. And it turned out to just this. And I remember you said that when this update was coming out, that you were surprised at just how negative people were. That people were just not they didn't want to get excited for the DLC because of just how the previous DLCs had been. But now you see it's because stuff like this, like these DLCs that come out, like they're I'm sorry, I'm just getting annoyed with this game so much. I'm just losing my track of thought. But it's just I was excited for this DLC, but I was still at the same time I was just also skeptical, and then we get this just recycled bag missions.
So you was not expecting much, but still disappointed.
Well, I had when the update was being announced, I had the attitude that I was excited, happy that we were getting a new update, but at the same time I was really skeptical. So I was hoping for the best, but I was also expecting the worst. And with this update, I had the worst opinion, I think, is what ended up happening.
Yeah, so, and also I just mentioned to see a comment in the chat. It's something that I hear a lot, and it sounds like Ali Jowett asks, I think both PvP and professional, by the way, call me cat, not PvP, anyway, and the professional are so negative. Not sure why either of you play. And I'll let you answer to this question first, and then I will give my thoughts. Because I'm pretty sure that you've seen such statement a lot in your comments.
Oh
so.
yeah, I've seen these comments. They're not that, I don't see them a lot, but I have seen these comments, and I'm honestly sick of this argument though. You're so negative about the game. Why do you play the game and all this other stuff? I like the game. That's just why. I'm negative not because I'm not negative because I hate the game. I'm negative because I'm getting annoyed at how they're treating the game, because they're treating the game so poorly. And oftentimes, you know, the people that make those type of comments saying, "Oh, you're so negative," it's either one of two things. Either those people are like massive, like, you know, Rockstar fanboys, and they're just they're so invested into Red Dead Online that they will even look past the bad and terrible updates and they'll still think it's a good update. Or two, they don't even play Red Dead Online. They might just be like hardcore GTA players that just might not understand why somebody is being negative towards Red Dead Online. And I'm going to tell you right now, those same people that say, "Oh, why are you being so negative?" How would those people feel if it was the other way around? If instead what happened was, imagine this, Red Dead Online got massive updates. Properties, house customization, maybe you could craft a cabin in the woods. It got big heists, you could rob banks and trains through free mode. It got a lot of new clothes, new roles, tons of new guns. There's so many new horses. Imagine if it got all that content, and then GTA Online gets contact mission updates. Imagine if that happened. Those same people that are saying you're being negative, imagine how much complaining they would do at that point. So it's, a lot of times I notice it's coming from the hardcore GTA players who are saying, "Oh, you're so negative towards Rockstar," and stuff like that. But at the same time, is they don't understand, they don't play both games, and they don't understand the level of the level that both games are updated at. Because I remember when Red Dead Online was first being announced, when that game was first announced, there was so much complaining. And it was, the complaining generally was, "Oh, you know, GTA Online is going to be abandoned now. You know, Rockstar's not going to make updates for GTA anymore. They're just going to focus on stupid Red Dead." It was comments like that I saw. And then what happens is the opposite now, where Rockstar's constantly focusing on GTA Online with these massive updates and barely giving anything to Red Dead Online. And guess what? Those people are hypocrites, because they were complaining thinking that GTA Online was going to be neglected, but it's the opposite way around. And they're perfectly fine with Red Dead Online being neglected and GTA Online getting all these massive updates. So, you know, I don't, those people, you know, they can call me negative all they want, but anybody that watches my videos and watches my channel knows that I truly like Red Dead Online, and I enjoy the game, and I don't be negative just because I want to be negative. I'm negative because I'm pissed off at just the amount of just how Rockstar just neglects this game, treats this game like a forgotten child, when there's a big community of players that actually enjoy this game and want new content on it. And the people that don't actually speak up against that, they're part of the problem, because when people don't speak up against that, that's basically saying to Rockstar, "Oh, just give us the crappy updates. We don't care." That's basically what it's saying, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually have pretty much the same answer to this question, except you see this as a perspective that people who make the statements are usually GTA players. I don't agree. I think it's just a new players in general. And I want to stress something out, like disliking and criticizing the update first doesn't mean hating even the update. And second, if you dislike some update, it doesn't mean that you don't like the game in general. It's just you don't like the new content that been added. Or maybe you don't even, not necessarily don't like it, it's maybe you just think it's not enough. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine, but it's not enough. And it doesn't mean that if you like Red Dead Online, for example, I love this game, right? And it doesn't mean that I should adore any updates that this game receives. No. I feel free to criticize these updates. And it doesn't mean that I should adore like Rockstar and pray to this company. No, I like this game, but it doesn't mean that I necessarily should be like happy with everything that Rockstar is doing, or at this point rather not doing. Not communicating, not listening to the community, not sharing any sort of plans about this and other games, and so on and so on and so on. So it's a different thing. Liking the game Red Dead Online and liking the Blood Money update. Blood Money update, it's not the Red Dead Online. It's not the whole game. for some people it's kind of hard to understand. I don't know why actually. Why they, put these two things together and say like, oh, if you don't like this update, so maybe shut up and get out of this game. I mean, this game is still, they haven't ruined this game with this update. I mean, it would be completely different situation if, let's say, they would add flying horses with laser beams from the eyes. And I would dislike this update, but this update would change Red Dead Online as it is, because it will change the game, it will be a completely different game, and in this case, it might be reasonable to say like, well, if you don't like this update and you don't like these flying horses for some reason, why don't you get out of here? Yeah, in this case I would agree, but not here. I mean, game is still the same. It's just this content that they've added, it actually adds nothing to this game, and that's the problem, in my opinion. But I just wanted to point to this question, because I actually received this a lot. And you know what? Another one that you probably heard a lot of too. Like, please stop criticizing the game because it will turn off a lot of new potential players and it will hurt the game. Like, I don't know whether you heard this. I received 2 DMs with this message, like not even in the comments, but DMs like shut up! How dare you criticize this? Like, stop it! You will.
This is extreme fanboys at this point.
Yeah, man, it's super weird to receive something like this.
One guy wrote, "Professional is too negative. Never seen a video where he is happy about the game. Watch my streams, because when I play this on the Red Dead Online on streams, I talk about the things I like about the game. And if you want to see videos where I talk about how much I like the game, look at my videos in fall of 2019. I know that's, some time ago, but it's when I was really happy with the direction the game was going. I'm not happy with the direction the game is going right now in."
They got people waiting.
Yeah. So Austin BMX says, did blood money make the Red Dead Online better? Question mark. 10%. It's super optimistic to say that Blood Money update add 10% to the value of Red Dead Online as a game. Like, it's not even 1%. It haven't done it game better. Like, no. Yes, if it added some content, some new, but like 10% of Red Dead Online's general value? Like, really? Blood Money update? Not even close to 10%. But I mean, as another part of this statement is like, did it make it worse? No question mark. For some reason, no. It kinda did it worse because of all these new bugs, logs, and stuff that they are not fixing for some reason. But I mean, it's temporary. I think they will change it. I hope they will change it. But again, they are not hurrying to fix these problems. Another annoying thing, like 50% on PlayStation 5, this problem. It should have been fixed within like few days. It's a huge problem that will, annoy all the players. New players, veteran players, like everyone will suffer from this problem. Like, it's not fixed yet. More than 2 weeks now. Or how long has it been? It hasn't been fixed. So, I mean, yeah, game is not worse in general, except these occasional bugs and problems, but I don't agree that it's added like 10%. It's now 10% better. Like, I'm sorry that I pointed this math, but I strongly disagree about this 10%. It's like not even close. Okay, so, but Patrick, another question, so like to compare, you gave this update 4 out of 10. Like, quickly rate last 4 big updates. Okay, Outlaw Pass 5 is not an update. Let's make a deal. It's not an update. So, Bounty Hunters, Naturalists, Moonshiners, and Frontier Pursuits. Give them a rate, so we would compare.
I'm trying to remember what I gave those DLCs because on the review score some time ago, but like, Frontier's Pursuits, I generally say it was like, solid 8 or 9 out of 10. I think that it was I think that it was a great update. I think that was the best update ever. You know, we got 3 roles: bounty hunter, collector, a trader. I really had no problems with Frontier's pursuits. Moonshiners I liked for the most part. Moonshiners I'd probably give a similar score. Maybe I'd give it a 7 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10 because it was a bit smaller. You know, Moonshiners, my only problem with it was I thought it could have been a little bigger, and also that I was pissed off with the glitches that were at launch, the black screen and all the other stuff. Naturalist, I think is the worst update in comparison to Moonshiners and Frontiers. Well, actually, no, I think I take that back. I say Bounty Hunter expansion is probably even worse than Naturalist. So Naturalist was much the first role that was kind of like really like boring. He did have content in it, but didn't really have that much to do. You know, maybe 6 out of 10 because it's like it did at least give us some content to do, some stuff to do. But overall, it was just not an update that you had fun grinding in, and certainly not an update that players are going to regularly play to make money. And then Bounty Hunter expansion, 5 out of 10. It's just it was just nothing new for me. I know they added some infamous missions, so at least there was that. But it was just no. It was just a daily challenges cut in half. You know, nothing new. 10 new ranks to Bounty Hunter, making us buy the same Bounty Hunter, like, prestigious pass again, prestigious license, I should say. And then, you know, this update, Blood Money, which we pretty much discussed, like, this update, 4 out of 10. It's just, you know, terrible, really bad. You know, nothing new. Recycle bag missions. You know, there are, you know, one mission, Blue Water John, kind of cool, but, you know, Blue Water John doesn't really make up for everything else that's bad in this DLC.
Mm-hmm. So I see now your rates for other updates. Well, mine is pretty close, except I mean, I was disappointed by the bounty hunters, just like many players, because of, you know, this nerf. At least this time, I mean, let's look at the positive moments. At least this time we haven't received any nerfs, which actually surprised me, a lot. I saw a cool comment from someone. Oh, from До свидания. The word Capitale has not been spoken once. This is a massive plus point. And yeah, for some reason we haven't even said Capitale. So what do you think about this system? Because in my opinion, it's another like wasted potential and opportunity. The whole Capitale stuff in this Blood Money update.
I'm not a fan of it really, and I think that doesn't make sense to an extent also. The thing that I don't like the most about Capitale is how you have to find it in the missions. That's what I don't like. And like when somebody like, you know, makes a guide on it, I made a guide on it already, but you know, when people make guides on it and they you know, and they show the locations of the Capitale, you already know where they are, so you're just basically going to go through the same mission, going up to those locations, stuff like that. But what I don't like is how they say you're getting paid in Capitale. You do these missions, you spend a lot of time in these missions, and you don't even get any Capitale unless you find it. So the only way to get Capitale is you have to find it. I don't like that. I think that at minimum you should get at least 1 Capitale per mission. That's easy, and the harder missions should get a minimum of 2 Capitale. So just for completing the mission, it shouldn't just be just stuff that you just find out in the mission. It should be stuff that you also get you know, while playing through the mission. And as for like, you know, the actual system where you buy like an opportunity mission, it doesn't really make much sense. Because in GTA Online, I don't want to keep comparing this to GTA Online, but when you started up a heist, you had to like pay a setup fee, okay, you know, to get the equipment and stuff like that, but that was just with cash. This is just with Capitale that you have to find, and so you're basically paying like 25 Capitale to do the opportunity mission on Roofless, and you're paying 25 Capitale to do what exactly? To start up a mission where you steal like a ruby? Or a gemstone? Is that like, I don't understand that. And like, you know, Martelli says how important this is to him, but at the same time is the amount of time that we spend finding this Capitale, theoretically, that gemstone could have been long gone from Lemoyne. It could have been taken out of Lemoyne, it could have been taken somewhere else. So why do we need to pay him Capitale in order for him to hire us?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
For stealing, the logic just makes no sense. And then when you're at 50 Capitale, you also get capped on that, and you can't get any more. I just don't understand this whole system. And also the way that the NPCs just repeat the word, they say Capitale, just the way they say it. It's really annoying. I don't like the way that they I don't like the way they constantly keep saying it.
I mean, for some reason, Rockstar is trying to make, replaying all of the missions, or even not missions, but farming methods annoying. Like, for example, like, I'm pretty sure that a lot of players are annoyed with Marcel right now, or with creeps, because each time you have to see the same cutscene, and it's get super annoying if you played it, like, many times. And the same thing with the Capitale. I think they've made it annoying for a reason. I might be, seeing a conspiracy theory here, but I mean, I just feel like they don't want us to grind these missions. That's why they've made it so annoying. Because obviously NPCs are saying this word Capitale like too much, like too often. It's not necessary for them to repeat this word like 4 times each time when you're trying to get this mission. It's kind of weird, and it annoys pretty much anyone. I mean, the biggest defenders of this update are also annoyed by this word.
I sympathize with Joe the most when Joe's like, me, I don't give a damn about this stupid Capitale. That's what Joe says.
It's like a level of self-irony here, I believe. Rockstar is still capable of doing this self-irony. At least that's what I hope for. But again, we talked about this future update. Unfortunately, there is not really much to talk about because there is not that much of a content, not that much of a changes. We touched the future of Red Dead Online a little bit, or at least your view on this future. But like, what do you think? Give your prediction. What we will receive later this year?
I just also wanted to say one final thing about Capitale because I just remembered. Capitale, you can buy that with gold bars. And so even if you buy it's 25 Capitale to start a roofless mission. So even if you buy the 25 Capitale, that'd be around 9 gold bars to buy. So even if you bought that, you wouldn't make back that even if you took the longest time possible on the mission in terms of cash, you would not be getting that money back equally in cash. So you would be actually losing money every single time that you actually bought Capitale. You wouldn't be really gaining anything from it. And that's a kind of a really messed up system that Rockstar put into place.
I mean, it's not even close how much you're gonna get in return for completing this mission, even on Ruthless, even spending 30 minutes. It's like, it's not even there. So, yeah, it's kind of weird system, and I'm not quite sure, actually, who are they focusing with this proposition that you can buy Capitale with gold. I mean, I hardly doubt that anyone except YouTubers bought this Capitale, because I bought it. I wanted to make this challenge with a cow, and I didn't want to grind Capitale, so I just bought it because I have a lot of gold. And Austin BMX told me that he also bought it, if I remember correctly. But like, how many players bought it except for this content creation reasons, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, coming back to the previous question, like, what's your prediction about what will happen to Red Dead Online this year? What it will receive?
I don't think it's looking good, because we already know what's coming out on GTA this year, at least. Not in terms of the online, but we've had 2 major announcements. And the first one is Rockstar's planning to doing something for GTA 3's 20th anniversary, which is this October. Now, I don't know what that is. Some people are saying it might be an HD release on PS5. Other people are saying it might be a remake. I don't know. I don't want to, I'm not the type of guy to speculate on that type of stuff. But we know that something is coming out for GTA 3. And then Rockstar is, they're also releasing Expanded and Enhanced for GTA 5, which is probably going to add some more stuff. It's probably going to add more stuff. I mean, I can't see it just being a simple HD release, even though I think it possibly could. We know that game's getting an enhanced version, which I don't know why Red Dead wouldn't, considering that Red Dead's a newer game, and PS5 and Xbox Series X came out not too long ago. But we know that those 2 things, the GTA 3 is getting something, and then GTA 5 is getting expanded and enhanced. No word, nothing on Red Dead Online. I don't think that's good. I think that they could have at least, put something on the newswire saying, we're releasing our biggest update ever this December. If they did something like that on the newswire, then the hate towards Blood Money wouldn't have been that much. But now, Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Now, next 5 months, it's going to be nothing but silence from Rockstar. It's going to be no word on the next update, nothing. Because Rockstar has terrible relations with their community and Reddit Online. And then in December, we're probably going to get some type of generic update again. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a naturalist expansion at this point. 10 new ranks or something like that, helping Harriet to find, like, perfumes for, like, legendary animals or something like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next, that's the next DLC, because like these last few DLCs haven't given me hope.
Sounds
Rockstar.
exciting. What you described, it's an exciting gameplay. I'm pretty sure Rockstar might steal an idea, so just be careful with such ideas. Yeah, but you actually mentioned this possible remakes or remasters for all the GTA, and yeah, it's another thing that might not be like might not give Red Dead Online on Red Dead Redemption another attention from Rockstar, because they're busy with different type of stuff. So you're not optimistic at all about the nearest future of this game, at least.
No, I'm not right now. I was somewhat at least optimistic for Blood Money, but I was still skeptical. But now this next update, I'm not optimistic at all. And it's like the next update could be the best update ever, and I don't think I'll be optimistic unless I see something rational that like shows me that it's actually going to be a good update. Because Blood Money has showed me one major thing, and that is you can't trust a newswire. That's what Blood Money has shown me.
Well,
that newswire post made it seem like it was going to be such a big DLC, and it wasn't.
It's kind of weird. I mean, some viewers might have a feeling right now that I'm advocating for Rockstar during the stream. It's just I'm trying to, you know, to have a conversation which discusses more the problem more deeply than we just both me and Professional ranting. But I mean, another like argument for as an Rockstar's advocate, basically they've gave us exactly that they've told us in a newswire. Like they haven't announced anything that they haven't delivered. We've been promised homestead robberies. We get homestead robberies. We've been promised like working for Guido Martelli, and technically we are working for Guido Martelli. I mean, yeah, it's not even an NPC in the game, it's just a cutscene that we see only one time, and we're never gonna see this Guido Martelli again, I'm pretty sure. But technically they haven't lied us, and they delivered exactly what they like told us in a newswire. So
well, I wouldn't use it as they lied to us, but I would more use it as they didn't tell us the whole story. That's basically what I would say it as. They got us excited without telling us the whole story. Because yes, when you got a point, they didn't really lie to us, but they didn't tell us the whole story. So like, they really were, they didn't tell us what these type of missions were gonna be like. They just said homestead robberies, and now that could be a very vague a term. And I actually predicted the homestead robberies. What it was. The only thing that I got wrong in my prediction was I said that it was gonna be like a single chest that like you loot inside the house. It's gonna be like a gang hideout. It's gonna be like a few enemies you kill inside the house, and then you're gonna loot a single chest, and that's it. And was I really that off when I said that? Like, it's just the only difference is you get a bag instead of like a chest, and you find the Capitale in those small loot boxes. You kill some enemies. It's really no different than like what I said. So it's just that's what I was scared of happening, and it's exactly what had happened.
Actually, you know what I thought about one word that they used in the newswire, and that was definitely misleading, because they described it as a high-stakes robberies, and I see no high stakes here. Like, nothing is on a stake, and like reward is not something impressive, so I have no idea why they call it high-stakes robberies, because again, it's everything but not except the high stakes, like what I see here.
The mafia actually pays you better if you actually waste time.
Yeah, it makes sense for mafia, like because why would they need someone who makes the job done fast and effective, right? So you just waste time, and that's it. And you get in. But by the way, I'm so annoyed by this system in Red Dead Online. If criticizing the game in general, not like parts of the update. It's something that always annoyed me. The stupid systems. The longer you spend, the more you're getting paid for. And Rockstar, I had a hope that at least in this mission they will get rid of this system. And let's say at least for opportunities, we're gonna get paid for, not for the time we spend, but for the result. And maybe even with some bonuses. I mean, it would be cool if we had a bonus for completing mission in stealth or something like this. But no, they just used this stupid old system again.
I actually talked about that in my review. I actually did that one, like, a homestead robbery completely stealth. I took everybody down quietly. No alarms or anything. And I didn't get anything extra for that. So, like, it's not what I think of when I think of a homestead robbery. I think of, like, civilians, like, running away scared, like, picking locks and stuff like that, sneaking around the house. Not like, not like getting into a fight with a bunch of gangsters or outlaws right outside of a house and just stealing, like, a single bag in it. That's just not what I consider, like, a homestead robbery.
Yeah, but I mean, robbery is a small mission. It's the same problem with opportunity as well. I've completed the first one, or completely stealth without raising the alarm, and there is no extra payout or something. Like, nothing. Nothing special. It makes sense. Makes no sense to me, like, at all. It's not a good game design.
One guy wrote in the comment, though, that the 50% glitch is the real high stakes.
Oh, yeah. That's true, unfortunately. And it's not the only problem with the game. I mean, it's not like terrible bug, but these wild horses that are running around are still there. It wasn't fixed. You
ever seen my video?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, finish.
No, I just want to say that today I saw a few such horses playing on a PC, so it's still there and it's still quite a popular bug.
Ever seen my video that I made like a few months ago? I think it was April, and I talked about how Reddit Online's intro misleads you.
Yeah, I remember.
You see that one?
Yeah.
Do you remember the part where I showed, like, in the introduction, when you talk to those two brothers from, forget their names, the two brothers from the single player, and they tell you, bring the horse to them, and then they tell you, we'll contact you soon when you can bring us new horses or something like that, and it never happened. It makes it seem like you're going to be able to sell them horses that you steal or find in the world and stuff like that, and that never happened.
Yeah, it never happened, and I mean, we still cannot use a lockpick. How it's called? Lockpick, right?
The lockbreaker.
Lockbreaker. I mean, I just thought about this, this new mission, how it's called, like something of the West, new opportunity mission. There is a closed door, and we should take keys from the senator. I mean, why not use this mechanic in this situation? So it will be possible to either steal keys or open it with a lock breaker. I mean, great opportunity to use some old mechanics that like annoys pretty much everyone and you're not using it in the game. But no, they just decided not to do it. So maybe I'm wrong. So lock breaker is needed for stealth, says Adam. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can. Oh, so from comments it's like you can use it. Oh, sorry. Then I'm sorry. My critique was not on point because I was not. I couldn't open it for some reason for completing. Maybe I haven't paid attention. Or maybe I don't have a lock breaker on a PC because probably I haven't even bought this on a PC because I knew that it's a useless stuff. Oh, so, I mean, I'm sorry. A lot of comments are saying that actually you can use lock breakers and, well, it's a cool one. I just
like what door specifically?
There is a door behind, like for in my completion. There are different locations for the chest, but one specific is sheriff's office, and it seems like you can open it with lock breaker. So I mean, hooray! Finally, they've made a use for this stuff. I mean, I haven't bought it on a PC even. It was such a useless thing that I decided not to spend how like $80 on it, on this item, and finally there is a reason to use it. So you see, Rockstar are fixing this game. They gave us reason to buy a lock breaker. Before this heist it was useless. Well, Adam says, well, technically there was some chests that you could open with the lock breaker. It's not like there was too much reason to buy an $80 item for them, but there was something that you can open with it. I don't remember where exactly, unfortunately. Yeah, so they've done something. You see, I'm advocating Rockstar a lot today, but actually, I kinda lost hope a little bit as well, especially after I saw this GTA update. And I know we're talking about GTA update a lot, and GTA in general a lot during the stream, and the stream is about Red Dead Online, but I mean, it's kinda hard to see the situation without of context, because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't look well for Red Dead Online right now. I have to agree with Patrick here, because I also don't expect anything significant during this year in Red Dead Online, so we might receive something cool on Halloween. By the way, again, let's focus on positive stuff. How do you like this leaked data about Halloween update? Halloween Outlaw Pass.
Actually didn't even look at it.
Oh, you haven't seen it. I mean, it's...
No, I got so annoyed at the game that I haven't even looked at anything else. I just focused on just like reviewing this update and giving my thoughts on it. So I didn't even. I should probably look at that Halloween thing, but like, what's inside it?
There are some cool cosmetics, and it seems like there was leaked like a survival mode with a wave of enemies, and you need to, like, a PvE mode. It's probably gonna be, and I guess we're gonna receive it on Halloween. You know, who knows? Maybe there will be even zombies. I mean, unlikely, but maybe. And in a Outlaw Pass that we're gonna receive on Halloween, there are a lot of cool cosmetics. I mean, again, it's maybe my question of a personal taste, but I really enjoyed stuff that they're gonna have on a Halloween Pass. There are cool weapon skins. There is even a skin for a lantern. It's called Lantern. Let me check it, because I'm not quite sure whether I call it correctly. Probably it's a lantern. It's called Light here, if you choose it in the menu. There is a skin for a knife, and like a lot of cool clothing, to like a lot of stuff. So I enjoyed it. I mean, it makes sense to release something like this on a Halloween. So at least there will be something cool, at least in October. So I guess you should check it, because it you know, it gives at least some positive vibes. If you think about Red Dead Online.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about it and look at it when it comes out with the Halloween Pass.
Yeah.
But it's just really hard for me to get excited for this game at this point. It's how bad this game has been neglected, and I really do like this game, and I mean, I got so bored of GTA Online. I just, even with the new tuners update that came out, like, I do the contract missions and stuff like that, but I'm just not as enjoying it as much as like I used to, because I just played the game for just so much and so long, and I just wanted to play other games like, you know, Red Dead Online, and which is still, you know, fairly a new game compared to GTA, but it's just, man, it's just with this last update, it's just, in the last updates that we had, it's a whole combination of just neglect for the game, and I'm just not happy with the direction the game is going in.
Okay, so the last question will be like connected to what you just said. Like, imagine this game in let's say 1 year from now, August 2022. What do you think we'll expect Red Dead Online? Whether it's gonna be like dead in the water, or it will be more popular, or will stay the same? Like, what's your prediction? I know it's You don't know and I don't know, but give us prediction.
I think it might see a slight increase in players because of new players that are maybe downloading Red Dead Online separately. But I think that a lot of, if the updates keep going the way they're going right now, like if we get this type of update again in December, something like this, I think that a lot of like veteran players like my level and your level are just basically going to stop playing the game. They're just, they're going to be done with it. And I think that already a lot of people have, but I think it's just over time, you're going to see a lot more people get off this game and just not play this game anymore.
So overall, you're not too optimistic. That was kinda.
No,
Not
I
a
mean, you can't
surprise.
really blame me. It's just
Yeah.
this last this was just a disaster what they did with these of Blood Money. This is my title of my video, my review is why it's a disaster. I mean, I think that's the perfect title for it. Because it says people were expecting much and unfortunately they didn't get much. I mean, my review is at 85,000 views right now. It's looks like it's gonna get 100,000 views in a week. That's really good. So a lot of people are, and it's 97.6% like ratio. So a lot of people agree with me on that. That it's just that DLC was just disappointing and not good.
Yeah, well, we will see what will happen with this game. Who knows? I mean, I still have hopes for some sort of a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake. I want to see this, but again, Rockstar is not saying anything about it and nothing about new gen console version. Like, I mean, they don't share information at all, and unfortunately that's a problem and reason for a lot of players to be not optimistic, let's say. Let's put it this way. And actually, I don't think this one is gonna change. For some reasons, they decided to take the strategy and not changing it. Anyway, so we discussed Blood Money update with TheProfessional. And thanks to anyone who joined, who was communicating in the chat. Thanks to anyone who was placing likes, placing likes, just visiting this. And obviously thanks to all my patrons. And big thanks to you, Patrick, so you joined and discussed.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Like, I hope that we will have some more optimistic discussion, like, later this year. Not anytime soon, unfortunately. It doesn't seem like there will be too many reasons for optimism in the nearest future, but someday, who knows. Let's stay optimistic. Okay, thanks to anyone who joined. It was a pleasure, and see ya next time. До свидания.